Welcome to Shade and the City. I'm your girl Treese, and yes, Nell's on vacation. I did approve her PTO, so and I got her child. Look, isn't she blessed? But anyway, so yeah, y'all. So we're here to do the Love After Lockup. This is season 6, episode 2. Do not get me lying. I did not get the name of the episode, and I don't have Nels here because that's usually her job, right? But I do have a special guest host that has joined us before on the channel. However, she's never joined us for a show, and I was able to talk her into it. So I'm excited to bring her up. But yeah, y'all. So if you haven't already, please make sure that you hit that like button. And make sure, if you haven't already, that you guys are subscribed. And y'all, let's jump right into it. And yeah, let's get shady. All right, y'all. So as I let y'all know, I have a special guest host this week. I found Nels' replacement, and it wasn't hard. It's the lovely cousin Loren. Y'all know cousin Loren. She's she's been with us for some sipping shades before, and we love her very unfiltered opinion. So I said, who better to fill in for Nels and say the things that I won't say because I don't want to offend y'all. So so yeah, y'all. So thank you so much, cousin Loren, for being here. Y'all, she does not keep up with Love After Lockup. This is not her thing. And so this is really her doing me a favor. She watched last week's episode. She did this week. And she said, I don't know how y'all are watching this, but I appreciate her for doing it. So, cousin Loren, would you like to give your thoughts on the show?
The throughout both episodes, because like you said, I don't watch it. But throughout both episodes, the only question I was taking notes because I wanted to make sure I could give some honest opinions. And the only question that I wrote down throughout both episodes was why? Like I am like, I'm really literally just sitting there saying to myself,
why?
really? Why? Like, why is this? It's so sad that this is what our America has become. Like, this
And
is what.
what's so crazy, this is season 6. They have been doing this for years. They've been doing this for like 12. The fact that
Clearly,
the fact that they're still finding people is astonishing to me. They never run out.
The fact that there's that many people who live like this is like, what is really going on? But I'm not here to knock anybody. What is we listen, we don't,
and we don't judge.
So I don't get it. But I'll give my thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't get it. Why?
I hear you. All right, so let's jump into our first lovely couple, Quiana and Damodrick, I believe is how you pronounce it. Now, now, first of all, because you did watch last week, what are your thoughts just off of last week's episode? What are your thoughts about Quiana and Damodrick?
I think, and this is probably going to be the theme throughout this.
Why?
No, I think this is going to be the theme, though. I honestly, she seems so much younger than she is. I just feel a little immaturity there.
Yes,
And maybe it's because she explained that her mom was really strict.
Yeah, and she was
With
sheltered.
her, yeah. So maybe that's what it has to do with it. I'm glad her coworkers was trying to put her on to some game. But you've been with this man for 10 years off and on. He got, because I wrote this down now too. Hold on.
6 kids.
6 kids and 3 baby mamas.
Uh-huh.
That's it's a
I love how
lie.
you said, "I wrote this down."
I had to write that down again. I didn't want to miss that when she said. I said, "Well, where's my pen? Let me jot that note because she was dropping some nuggets. 3 baby mamas and 6 kids." I said, "Oh, she's a complete and utter idiot." But I, I think it's more. I think it's more a maturity thing. I have a problem with her stepfather because
I
you
was
are.
yo, my notes, literally in my notes, I said, "Her stepfather enables her."
It's yeah. He's enabling these
This
shenanigans.
delusion, this delusion.
This
Yes.
yes, this and so I have a problem with that because she was so sheltered. I don't know. And maybe she
Mhm.
wasn't as sheltered as maybe I'm thinking, but I
Right.
definitely think that there's an immaturity level
Piece
there
there.
because
I absolutely agree.
I wrote down crybaby.
Yeah.
Like she just seemed like she was just whining, and it bothered me a little bit. Now I will say this for both episodes, I sat there the whole time when I was watching. I certain things were being said, and this was literally my reaction. Oh Lord. Like I just it was like, what else do you say to this foolishness? But that's what I think of her. I think there's a childish. She's not as mature. Though she's in her, I believe, like she's in her 30s. Did I say
I feel like she's like 31 maybe or something like that.
that? I didn't write down, but I just feel like there's a immaturity about her.
Yeah,
Her father is enabling the foolishness,
I
and
agree.
and
I'm
so
I'm glad you picked that thing.
now for him, I want him to take these ponytails out. That's what I need him
These
to
two
do.
things, right? Well, okay. So now that we're talking about hair, we can't let her get under the radar because I let her slide last week.
Oh, that whole
But no, no. This week it was bad. It was very. I guess they did the close up. It was real bad.
now I don't wear wigs and I don't know much, but I do know you ain't supposed to see that lace like that.
And you're not supposed to see it cut like that with the jagged
Yeah,
edges.
that was ridiculous. That now people can get on here. They want to talk about me now because I know these braids is old and I
No.
got gray hair coming out of them. But I'm also not doing no TV show on WeTV. Like that
Right.
is you got to do something about this. She could have put some makeup.
But no,
I
if
don't
she's
know how they
supposed, but
do
she's
that.
supposed to be a hairstylist.
That too, because she was doing some palm rolls in there, wasn't she?
Ye-
But that was locks. Now I ain't seen nobody get. Well, no, the guy was doing some.
Right.
He was doing some. Yeah, her hair looked a mess. And her hair looked a whole mess, and she was crying, and it was lifting her. I was like, Lord Jesus, I don't know what's going on here, but that was just that. That's another show. That wig could have had its own show. I don't. It was a mess,
Okay.
but
So what were you saying about Damodrick? What are your feelings about him?
I think that he I don't know because they don't really get too much
Into
with
him, right?
him. But what I think may happen, and unfortunately, I probably won't watch any more episodes to see if I'm right. I'm just have to watch you guys
I
talk
was gonna
about
say,
it
I'll tell you, I'll
to
call you
see,
and be like, girl,
to
guess
see if I
what?
was correct. But I feel like he really I mean, I think he does love her, but I think that he
What about
plays
Juela
off
though?
I think he plays off of her insecurities. Like
Hmm.
I think he knows that she's not like she's just that immature that she's not going anywhere. Now that baby mama, to be honest with you, there's clearly a screw that's not quite tight
Hmm.
for you to post the stuff that you're posting on. I don't know what was it, that Instagram she's
It was
posting this
Twitter or
stuff
something
on.
like that.
It's
Yeah,
like who
Facebook.
says stuff like that about the like? I can't wait. I wish my baby daddy was doing the dirty with me right now, and like who says stuff like that? I mean, so I think she might. I think she's just comfortable, and I think he's made her comfortable. Do I think
Right.
I think that the possibility is there for him to be able to go back, and maybe that's why she's so comfortable because she knows that he can always come back. I don't think that him sleeping with her. I don't feel like that's what's really going to be a issue. I
Hmm.
think Listen, this man has been clearly he's been sleeping with her while he was sleeping with her because they got 2 kids and y'all been together on and
No,
off for
3,
2 years.
remember?
Oh, they got 3. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, so
Or no,
I don't.
you're right. I mean, he may be 2. I thought he had 3 with her.
I
'Cause I
think. Well, I don't know, but he has. He's been cheated on her at least twice. I think
right.
that's what she said with this young lady, and none of the other baby mamas are acting a monkey. I think she just is the one that's still in love with him,
Right.
and I think he just likes that. I feel just by looking at him and listening to him, I feel like he just likes the
He
attention.
likes the
He doesn't
chaos and
mean that
confusion.
he doesn't mean anything by it. I think he just likes the attention that he gets from both of them. I think he likes the fussing
Friction.
and the
Yeah.
fighting, the friction that the two of them have, and I think it's again a maturity thing. I think both of these women clearly that big mama is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And Kiana is definitely not the sharpest knife
Well,
in
that's
the drawer. So I think he just plays. I think he's gonna play off of that. I think he's gonna play off of their immaturity. That's a dangerous game to play because when you're immature, you also can get violent. But
mm.
I don't think he's as a bad as a like a in term. I mean, he a raggedy dude clearly, but I think he really wants to do right by Kiana. That's the feeling I'm getting. Again, I'm not going to watch any
I
more
was gonna say
episodes.
you're new to this, but it's okay. That's good. You're hopeful for them. That's very good. So, y'all, basically, this episode, I'm sorry, I just had to get her opinion on them from last week. But yeah, so she gets a call and she's supposed to be picking him up. And so once they confirm that she's there to pick him up, she runs into her man's arms and he's all gripping her booty in front of her G-paw and they slobbing each other down. And, I just thought it was so disrespectful, but I get it. Whatever. He been locked up. So now Damodrick said that he never wants to go back to jail. He has to go straight to this halfway house to get this ankle monitor. And he has to get there in time or they revoke him. And I felt like that they got, well, we'll get there. Okay. So then apparently he wanted to be a physical therapist growing up. He did go to college, but I guess he started hanging around with the wrong crowd. He said he was shot in the shoulder, and since then he always kept a pow pow on him. Okay. And apparently kept getting pulled over, and this is how he ended up in jail like he did. Okay. So basically, they driving off to the halfway house. G-Pod tells him, like, look, I need you to be on the straight and narrow moving forward. Okay. Keep it straight. And so Damodrick says that, when he met Kiana, now this is one of the things that I had a question about. He said when he met Kiana, he was 16 and she was 12.
Yeah, yeah, that was a little nasty.
And he said, come see about me later on. That's what he tell us. That's what he tell us.
Yeah, he said when I told her, when you get a little older,
Yeah.
come holler at me. But
And
who says that to a
who
12?
says that to a 12-year-old?
At 16, a little 12-year little boy, I'm not telling him wait till you turn 16.
Right.
I'm be like, ew, go.
No. Right.
And
So
then if I see you some years later and I think, oh, now you were of age, but I'm not gonna tell you to come back when you of age. That's
right.
nasty.
So of course, Kiana kept in touch while he was in college and they spun the block and I guess that's how they ended up together. Okay. And so he said he does plan on proposing to her. And he wants to show her, that that's what he wants to live right, like Loren was saying. And she's delusional and she's like, I see us living the dream and I really think it could work. And bless her heart. So then they take him to get his monitor and they sitting there waiting in the car for hours. Now, if it was me, I would have drove down the street. I might have done something else. I would have got me something to eat. I don't know. I just be sitting up in the car, but they waited. And finally she goes out, and I guess one of the officers, the counselor, I don't know, somebody came out the office and said, oh, he ain't going nowhere. He's staying here. So you can go ahead and just give me his bag. And so, of course, she's all upset. And this is what me and Loren are talking about. Then her stepfather, G-Pa, goes on this, what's the word that he gives this soliloquy about
Absolutely.
how about how, oh, when this woman is hurt and broken and this man just wants to live, how could you do this to this poor woman? And I was like, no, sir. No, sir. You're enabling her and you're making her no, because she shouldn't even be in this situation with this man. You should be encouraging her to want better for herself. And the fact that you up here co-signing it, riding down with her, I love the support, but at the same time, as me and Loren said, it's enabling bad behavior. You're
Yes.
rewarding bad behavior.
Yeah, that whole mess. And then she got to crying and he took her home and now she
Right,
was just so mad and crying. Girl, man, I
right.
still don't know why did they keep him?
They didn't never told us, and they said they don't know when they're gonna release them either. They don't. I don't know. I mean, I think they said
Because I feel like I missed that. Like I felt like she said it. The woman said it,
she said it, but she
but
was
it
like,
was
"It's
like a
something going
whisper.
on
But
with
she
the
wasn't on
prison
the
system."
microphone. Yeah, but she didn't have a mic
No,
on,
because she
so
wasn't a part of the cat. Like
right.
she
So it
will,
was just
yeah.
like I couldn't really hear, and I was like, well, you know what? It ain't me, so Imma mind my business.
You
God,
stupid.
let her have that.
But yeah, so yeah, good luck to Quiana and Damodrick. Maybe that's the reason why we're gonna get a because we still have another couple that we didn't meet. Who is it? Who do we have
In the
left? Or
first
are we done?
episode, we didn't meet
Willie,
Brooklyn and oh, no, we haven't met
we still
Willie,
haven't met Will and Courtney. These
Will, and Courtney.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
these
don't know.
folks. Yeah, they didn't come up yet. All right, but let's get into Joey and Michael. All right, Joey and
Joey
Michael.
and Michael.
I
Yeah.
like them. They were actually a repeat, I told you, from a
Oh,
season
okay.
prior. Yeah, and I liked Joey, but I've never liked Michael. I knew he was going to be Joey's downfall, and I absolutely foresee that happening because Michael wants to get high.
Yeah, so I did out of all of the couples, I've really liked this couple the most. I I have a soft spot in my heart for Michael because I feel like he wants to do right.
Michael, hold on, it's at
Yeah.
the bottom of the screen. Now, if you said Joey,
No, no, no. I know Michael was the one that's getting out and got the drug problem, and he has clearly he has a problem with being not celibate, but being in a
faithful.
monogamous
Yeah.
relationship. And um, I like the fact that Joey understands that there's no delusion there. I know that he has a drug problem. I know that he has a problem with being monogamous. I hoping that we can get through this. And I like the fact that the first step that they took was to do a hard reset of his phone and get rid of all of
But do
his
you see how upset he was when
yeah,
it
he was upset, but he's an addict.
all right, I hear you. I hear you,
And
but
I
we
think
going
that's why I feel the way that I feel about Michael. I think that Michael is raggedy because of his addiction.
okay. Okay.
And that's the difference.
So you
It's
think
one
he
thing
can
when
be
you
good
just
if
rag.
he's off the drugs? You think he
I
can be
think if once he gets sober and he is sober, I think that him and Joey could really be happy with one another. I think that they both genuinely love each other. Um, I feel like I said, I low key feel sorry for Michael because he's an addict, and
Mhm.
but I do feel really sorry for Joey because his he's so optimistic, and it's gonna be really sad if Michael lets him down.
Right. And I see, and
And I honestly think that he will. So I say
I was
if,
gonna say he
but
absolutely is.
it's really a matter of when he lets him down.
Right.
But and so I feel bad for him. But I don't think that it's Michael's intent. I think he's raggedy because
Of
of
his
his
addiction.
addiction.
Okay.
And so I don't think that you can really come with somebody like that is a sickness. That is a real sickness. And when someone has an illness like that, yeah, you can get mad at them, you can dislike the things that they do, but can you really put all blame on them? You know that if they were sober, this is not how they were. It's one thing if he was like that sober and he like that
Hi.
high.
Okay. Okay.
But Joey even said, "This is my first time ever being with him sober."
Sober. Okay. Look
So I think
at
that
now.
that's
That is not what I expected for you out here giving
so
people
I do.
grief.
So out of all of the couples, that is the one couple that I hope that Michael can get through his addiction. And because Joey seems like a really nice guy, like, you know what
No,
I'm saying, like.
I love Joey. I just don't like Michael for Joey. I love Joey.
But I think that's his addiction. I think that if he's sober, you'll see, like, because I just think that it's his addiction. Let me say this: I hope it's his addiction because he doesn't seem like he's a terrible guy. He's just not a good dude because he's getting high. And those type of drugs are definitely mind altering. Like, this ain't just smoking weed.
That's true. That's very true. So, y'all, we get into Joey. He's all excited, for Michael to get out, but he worries about the restrictions that are going to be placed on him after, once he's on parole. He's concerned, like Loren told us, about the intimacy now that they're sober. He thinks that Michael is his soulmate, though, so he gonna go full speed ahead, even though he has all these concerns. Which love Joey, but there's some things that Joey, could do better as well. All right. So he thinks that, they connected on all levels and he has so many plans for the future. Michael also says that he's excited to see Joey as well. So, and, he said that his biggest issue is monogamy, as we know. And he's just not sure, how that's going to work. And then once he's out and, thankful to be there, they end up Michael gives us like a brief history on him and just his struggles with his sexuality when he was younger. And then basically how he got into, using, because I guess he broke up with his first like real partner, his first real relationship, and that kind of took him over the edge. And then basically when they talk about, he sees that he has a new number, and the phone has been wiped, and he's obviously upset. And he admits to production. This is why I hear what you're saying, but this is what took me. When he admits to production that he's already thinking about using, and he's just thinking about when he can get away with it, without destroying everything.
But
And
that's what I'm saying.
he hadn't even been out a good 30 minutes.
But that's the point I'm making, though. That's an addiction. That is an illness.
I hear you.
He's sick. He is truly sick. When you're
But what
just getting
scares
out
me
of
is
jail.
Joey used to be an addict too.
Right. Right. So Joey's gonna have to be strong, and he's gonna have to, if he catches it and he sees it, he's gonna have to step off.
Right, right. Because if not, that they used to use together, and I
Right.
absolutely see them doing that.
He's gonna have to step off.
Let's jump into. I cannot wait to get Lauren's thoughts on Ashley, Julius, and Alexis. Okay, now what I will tell you, this is a common thing in the love after lockup space because these men be talking to many different women and all the time. So the thruple thing, but they haven't been doing it as much the last past seasons. And but I guess because they realized people really enjoy it, they brought like because clearly we got like 2 or 3 on the show. But yeah, this is our main thruple here. What do you think about Ashley and Alexis and Julius? Now, first of all, what do you think about Ashley? Because Nels had an issue with her because she feels like she catfished this man. And those pictures that
Go with that, because I was looking at her when she was talking, and I was looking at the pictures that was showing, and in my mind, I'm saying to myself, "Is this the same person?"
right. Chanel
But
called.
whatever.
She said that's the bold glamour filter or something like that on TikTok. She
You
called the
can't
filter out.
I, yeah. So I can definitely see where one would feel like they're being catfished. Um. So first of all, that's a little boy.
Do you think he fine though? Once he got out, because when I first
Uh,
saw him, like that picture does not. This picture down here does not do him justice.
that's because he was 18.
Okay, facts.
Um. I. I. Fine. No.
He's not bad on the eyes. I don't think he's fine, but he's not bad on the eyes. Like he look better than he do in this picture. Is what I'm saying.
He alright.
Okay.
He's a baby,
Mm-hmm.
and you got these
Absolutely.
two grown. Let me watch.
Well, first of all, hold on. No, no, no. So Alexis, well, yes, Alexis is grown as well. But what I said last week, what bothers me about Ashley, one, she got two kids. Two, she's 31, he's 25. I was like, first of all, when I was 25, I was not checking for a man that was 5 years younger. But I damn sure wasn't looking for a man 5 years younger when I was 30. And not with no kids, especially. Like just the maturity level. Like it's
So
not
I think Julius is he's a raggedy dude.
okay.
He has not learned his lesson. He gonna be right back in there. I literally would give it a year. And that's me being generous. I think
Mhm.
while the show is airing, you're gonna find that he has gotten locked back up again. Because he clearly hasn't learned his lesson. I don't
I
think he's
got
learned his lesson.
cousin Loren that put a prediction out there. You know, I keep
I
my
don't think
ears to
he's
these
learned his
YouTube
lesson.
streets.
I don't think he's learned his lesson personally. I think he's
Okay. I don't
childish.
think so.
I think
But the fact that he was smoking before they even got out the parking lot for real, I was
and
like
he's raggedy, and then you jump out the car, and
yelling.
and you childish, you ghetto, and you haven't learned your lesson. Because I would have been like, get up out this parking lot.
Hmm.
I ain't trying to come back over here no more. Then you
Right.
disrespected that girl. You had that girl drive up there, and then you get in the car with your boys.
I
You
wanted to know what you thought about.
totally disrespected that girl. And now I don't have now. Let's just be clear on some things. Sympathy, I have none. Do I
Okay.
have any
Okay.
sympathy for
Okay.
her?
Okay. Okay.
No, I don't have no sympathy for her. But I'm talking about him as a
Man, yeah.
man.
Yeah.
That was raggedy. That was super raggedy. Then you lie in this girl's face and tell her, "Oh, I ain't know they was coming. It was last minute." You's a daggone lie.
Right.
Your feet stink, and you don't love your Jesus. Telling them type of lies. Why would you lie? Like you knew they was coming.
Your feet stink and you don't love Jesus.
You know that was a bold-faced lie. He
It
been
was.
lying the whole time. You've been lying to this girl, and then on top of all that you've done, everything that you've done, you took a cell phone that this broad brought you,
Right.
and you call this chick, and then you
But
sit
that's how you show that
that,
shows you ninjas be disrespectful as
but that shows you his maturity level too.
right.
Because let me tell you, that other one who I had to write his name down. Hold on, Damoderick. That's
Right.
what he didn't do was call that baby mama.
Right.
A level of maturity, and you allowed this man to disrespect, and then you as a woman let this fool get in another man's car, and then he says, I mean, we'll just meet at the restaurant,
And he's like, you gonna
meet up
have
to
me
get breakfast.
after that. Why you gonna have him wrestle? Can I tell you, I would have cussed them ninjas out. But you know what? I guess you can't when he's agreeing to it. But I would have been like,
I wouldn't have cussed those guys out because those are his boys. He
right,
knew they was coming. He knew what the plan was. She the one who didn't know what was going on. Everybody else knew. He made a complete and utter fool out of her. What wouldn't have happened is I wouldn't have followed them. And I would have the moment she gave him that phone, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna go with them.
mm-hmm.
She brought him clothes. They could have bought him some shoes now because them Crocs was not where it was at. So somebody should have brought him some shoes. But she brought him some clothes and a little belt and gave him a cell phone, and that fool was gone. But she a dummy.
Yeah.
Because I've been waiting
But
my
she has,
day.
as Nell said, she suffers from low self-esteem, clearly.
They both do.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
both do. And he prays off of that.
Right. Because first
And
of all,
he's
if you remember,
not
he
disrespectful.
accidentally called Ashley's phone, and she's so desperate that she like,
First of all, I'm
first of
not
all, I'm not
accidentally
answering no
getting a
call,
call.
and I don't know who it is.
I thought maybe one of my friends got locked up. Okay, I'm gonna give you that. I don't know what type of friends you have, but listen,
But right.
stuff happens. You never know. Stuff happens. So
But
I'm gonna
don't
take
they
the
say it
call.
on the line? This is a collect call from such and such, and then they say the name.
I
So
I don't take calls from
I
jail.
feel
I'm
like
not sure how that
I'm
goes.
with you. I don't talk to that many people in jail. I don't know, but I thought
I don't know how that goes. But what I will say is, once I got on the phone with you and I realized I didn't know you, what I'm not gonna do is say, "Oh, you sound cute."
That part.
Who does that? You are a grown. You supposed to be a grown woman. You got two kids, and you over here taking collect calls from some strange man in jail, talking about, "I don't know you, but you sound good." Child, please, they all need some Jesus in their life. And like you said, and some self-esteem.
Same.
Alexis too, because she's a pretty girl. Why are you subjecting yourself? She didn't know him. Like, this her first time meeting him too.
Well, no, she's been to
Well, she
visit him. It was Ashley the one that couldn't visit. She's
right. She
seen him
said
in
she couldn't
jail.
get
This is the first time he's been free, like,
right, but you met him while he was locked up.
because she's friends with the sister. Remember she's best friends with his sister. Y'all, this is why I say this was a big ask to get Loren to come up here.
I just don't do foolishness and
Foolishness.
shenanigans. And uh, the
All
this
right.
this whole situation right here is going to be, it's going to be raggedy.
Oh,
And
it's gonna be
he
the highlight of the show because once they get to
it's going to be
tussling,
raggedy. Once they find out about each other, which ain't going to take them long, because this fool laying in the bed looked like from the previews, laying in the bed with a phone that Alexis gave him, and Ashley sent to him pictures. This about to be a whole entire mess. But it's okay. Again, y'all don't get used to him, Alexis and Ashley. Don't hold him too tight, because his,
he going back.
I
He
was about to
going.
say his black, but his mulatto tail is gonna be back in the prison system real soon, because he ain't learned his lesson. He ain't learned his lesson with
Oh,
all them tattoos on, and that means he can't work. You see all them tattoos on his face. He been locked up since he was 18, which means
right.
he got them. They need to get him tested.
But you know what they say though, and to your point about the maturity level, they say, and from watching this show, we see it a lot, like see it confirmed. Whatever age you are when you get locked up, because it's like you mentally stop growing. And then as the rest of the world is going on, so even though you might be 25 when you come out, you still have the mindset of an 18-year-old.
18-year-old, because that's what you knew going in.
Right.
And the world literally stops when you go in.
Right. For them, but not for us.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
no,
we
not
all
me, not me,
growing, moving.
not me.
Right.
I have no friends in jail.
So,
I have
okay,
no
let me ask
family.
you the most random question. Do you ever think that you could end up in, I'm not saying a throuple situation, but let's say you knew somebody, you was that, let's say your boo went to jail. God forbid, he went to jail and he had to do like 2 years, 3 years. Would you have a love after lockup bay? Would you stay with him and be with him and do the phone calls and have him being like, I don't want you going here, I don't want you doing this, and
First of
then
all, first of all, let me explain something. So to answer your question, no, no,
okay.
I wouldn't. Uh,
You said you wouldn't
and
be a Kirk and Rashid. I'm not Kirk and Rashid, a Yandy and Mandices. You ain't doing it.
no, I wouldn't deal with anyone in jail. If you go to jail, I'm going. I probably would. I wouldn't just like, if it was me and him. Like if it was and he went, I wouldn't just like leave him.
Mm,
I would be supportive, especially depending on what it is.
right. You would put money on his books. You would do the
That's
thing.
stop. Wait. I
you
said I would be
you you
supportive.
have to pay to accept the phone calls.
I said I would be supportive. So,
Okay.
especially depending on what the circumstances are. Now,
Okay.
if it's something that I honestly know that he didn't do, the support would be there. I would definitely hold him down, and I would work really hard to try to get things in order so that we can get him out. Those type of circumstances, absolutely, I would hold him down. You selling out here, being fast, selling drugs, for what?
Right.
For me? Because what you're not gonna do is put that on me. I was trying to take care of my family.
Nah.
No, you weren't.
No.
You weren't doing that for me. You was doing that for you.
You right.
Yeah. So in those circumstances, no, I'm not holding you down, because if you really cared about me and loved me, you wouldn't be out there putting yourself in predicaments where you would have to be taken away from me.
Ooh, that look at Lauren. Y'all better pass the collection plate. Look at Lauren out here giving us a word
So
on this
I
Good
can't.
Friday night. It ain't even
So
Sunday
no,
yet.
we're not gonna go with the whole. I don't put money on books.
On books, yeah, you put it on the money on the books. The commissary.
Yeah, no.
Let's finally get into Alexis Julius. I'm sorry, Ashley Julius and Alexis. So we see Ashley. She's joined by her friends at what looks like Party City or one of those. I think Party City shut down, but one of the party stores. She's getting decorations to welcome Julius home. She's anxious about how he'll treat her when they finally meet. If is he going to be standoffish? Is because again they've never met because she met him through a phone call. She tells her friends that she plans on throwing it back all day and says the next day is her birthday and she plans on getting pregnant. So again, back to maturity levels at this point. They ask, what time he's supposed to be getting out. And she's like, oh, I really don't know because he didn't tell me. His mama's supposed to be picking him up because he wouldn't let her. And so all the friends immediately realize, like, which that's a red flag. And, they're like, yeah, I think she's gonna get her feelings hurt. And her one friend actually is like, no, I actually have experience in this. To your point, Lauren, this actually is happening more than we think.
Right.
This is the thing. And so basically her friend Candy says that she hasn't liked him from the jump because after he flaked on her about getting matching tattoos, and now she's the only one walk around with his name on her. And that would have been it for me. But I guess after you get the tattoo, it's too late to, be like, you know what, you got me up. So I don't know. But there's cover-ups. I don't know. I would have been done with him.
Wouldn't have put this man's name on me.
I wouldn't have done that either, but she's not smart. But what I'm saying is because he didn't reciprocate. So they basically tell her they see red flags and she's like joking about it. Then meanwhile, we jump over to Alexis. And Alexis is en route to pick up Julius from jail. She's excited to have her man at home with her. And, I don't know if anybody else noticed this, and y'all drop down in the comments. One thing that everybody's so, oh, I'm ready for him to come home, but nobody's talking about nobody getting a job or like nobody like taking care. Like everybody, these women are really ready to take care of these men.
Yeah, please.
That's what it's giving.
My money don't spread that thin.
Okay. Ashley tells her girls that they plan to see each other later in the evening, and basically she can't wait to hunch him, as we know. Then we see Alexis sitting outside waiting for, and then Tyler and Julius, who the hell are they? But that's his sister's baby father. They tried to make it seem like, oh, that's my brother. No, that's your sister's baby father. And
Yeah,
he shows up. And then his brother shows up, and apparently they some ninjas from the hood that he used to roll with. And so, Alexis is obviously annoyed, as I would have been as well. And then once he finally gets out, Alexis is all happy to have her man. And Tyler and Julius are there to welcome as well. Hey, welcome back. All right. And they talk about how they can't wait to turn up. And Julius said he had a hard life. And that's how he got into trouble because he served, I don't know if I can even say this, the Fenty. And I don't mean Rihanna. Okay. The Fenty. And I don't mean Rihanna. To a confidential
of the other persuasion.
right. And so it was to a confidential informant. He says, but he says that Alexis is more than his girl. She's his best friend. And then production was like, well, what about Ashley? Okay. And this is one thing I do love about Love After Lockup production. They break the fourth wall. They be like, no, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Like, we're not gonna sit here and pretend like we're not seeing what we're seeing. And I can appreciate that. So then they decide they're gonna go to breakfast, and he decides, well, I'm gonna go ride. And this is me and Loren talked about this. I'm gonna go ride with Julius and Tyler. And Alexis is pissed off because she done got him this phone, she done got him these clothes, and you can't even ride with me. And my whole thing was, if we about to sit at breakfast together, the same way y'all feel like you gonna have him for the rest of the day, he can ride in this car with me. But of course, we know he obviously wanted to ride with them so he could get on his phone and call Ashley. And of course, that's what he does. And she gets all excited because, he called her.
It's him. It's him.
Yes, that's what she did.
It's him. It's him.
So yeah, y'all.
You never seen anybody so excited about getting a phone call from jail from a fool that been locked up
Well,
for
because he
what,
won't in jail. I
four
think that's
years.
why she was so.
4 years. 4 years?
See, he. I thought he
God.
said he did 6 years.
Oh, six, yeah, because 18 to, yeah, 18 to 25. Yeah.
Child. All right. I don't really care for the Brooke, but we're here. Okay. So Brooke and JK. Brooke is showing off because I feel like she real delusional. Now, and you know what? Before I get into my thoughts, because I don't want to taint. What are your thoughts about Brooke and JK? Let me get your thoughts.
Honestly, I think she's, again, we're back at that maturity level. I think that she's
She's another
delusional.
one with kids, and I hate when they
She's young with two children already by two fathers, which was funny to me when she said it. She's like, neither father has been there for their sons, but JK wants to be a father. Well, that's when he was in jail. Like now that he's home, do
right.
you really think he wants to be bogged down with your babies? And then you said, and then we can have another one.
Well, you know what?
Girl,
I think she's competing
I
with that
loved
other
her
girl.
mother. I appreciated her mother because her mother
Right.
was not going to feed into that foolishness. Her mother was like, "You certainly don't need no more children. You can't take care of the two you got."
That
This
part.
I don't think this is smart. So I definitely like the fact that her mother is not
Helping the
engaging in
delusion. Yeah.
this foolishness in her delusions. Um, but if I can be honest, Um, I don't think their relationship is gonna last, but I think it's gonna have everything to do with that boy mama.
Oh, you think so? Oh,
Something
oh.
about that mama just she was just like, all right, you getting on my nerves now. I think next week you'll probably see it, in the preview of next week. But I think the mother is really
Don't
going to
see it
just
for her.
I think she likes her, but she doesn't like her mindset. I think
Right.
she's like,
Okay.
because her mother even said it when they were
You
in
know
that
what? She did say
hotel.
that because she was like, I just wish that I don't want him to be tied down to anything.
Right, like
I
he
want him
needs
to
to
take it
just
slow.
focus. He needs to focus on him and
Because he's
not
an addict too. He's a former addict too.
yes, right.
So he
And
just
so
needs to focus on being sober. So yes, to your point.
yeah, so I think the mother, though doesn't, I don't think she dislikes Brooke, but I think she's gonna be the one that's gonna be constantly in his head. Like, listen, I'm not gonna do this with you again. You, my son, I love you, but she was crying in the car saying, "I just want him. I don't want to do this again," because
Right.
and I've again never experienced this, but I've
But they
heard
say
that
the
it's
I mean, and I can say
very
I
true.
can speak
Right?
from
It's very
experience.
true
Your
that
family does the time with you. Your
time too.
family
Like
does the
I'm
time
doing
with
that
you.
time with you. Like so,
Yeah.
and so I could only imagine for his mom. Like, and then you think you're gonna come home and then you, little girl, going to have my son head all wrapped up in you and not him getting better. No, we're not
Right.
doing it. Because
I agree.
she seems a little selfish. Because this is not one time has she said anything about JK and his recovery and how he's going to do when he gets out and the steps that he needs to take to better himself so that he could be this father to her two children. Not one time does she ever talk about that.
So my issue with her, thank you. I'm going to piggyback off that. And this has always been my issue with women that come up on this show. How are we considering our children and what we're bringing them to? And this man is a former addict. You don't know he's recovering and he's trying to get. I always hate when I see these women get up here and they expose their children to these people that clearly are unstable. They're trying to get their life back on track. And now you're trying to push them into fatherhood or motherhood or whatever the case may be,
Exactly.
and they just trying to figure out themselves or figure out how to get back so they can get high because that's the first thing that's on their mind. It's clearly not being a parent. So I hate to see it, but anyway. So
I agree. But if I have to be honest with you, they were a little boring to me.
they are. That's why I say I don't really care for them. But we see that Brooke, she's showing off this tattoo that she got, the JK design, or is this that's his name, JK? Yeah. She's
Yeah.
on her way. She's on her way to pick up his mom from so they can pick him up from jail, and she ends up having to share a bed with his mother. What did you think about that?
Awkward.
Not even awkward, but you ain't even shared a bed with him, and now you sharing the bed with his mama.
I mean, but that's her fault though, because she could. The mother was sitting there waiting. She the one that booked the room. Because you remember the mother was in the lobby and couldn't check in because the room wasn't in her name. So why would this heifer book a
Oh,
room when
see,
you
I ain't
get
even clocked that. I ain't even clocked that. Okay. So his mother believes her son has so much potential and just wishes, he could stay out of jail. She asked Brooke if she wants to marry her son, and Brooke said that both her and JK want babies and they want to get married. And this is what me and Lauren were talking about. His mother tells her she doesn't think that he needs to rush into anything or get tied down too quickly. She asked his mom. Then she asked his mom. My notes say she asked his mom about his body count.
she did. And
Okay,
I
okay. I
one
wanted to make sure I didn't misread that.
no, she did. She surely did. And that's again leads to two things, 2 points that I made. One, the
Shorty.
maturity level. Because what
Why are we having this
why would
conversation
you
with his
do that?
mother?
Why would you do that with his mother? That's number one. Number two, you worried about the wrong thing, boo.
Right.
Because she also asked him about the girl, his ex-girlfriend.
So
And
we
so,
go get
like, you worrying about the wrong thing. You need to be worrying about you and him. Why you worry about everybody else? She's
so J
selfish.
she is. So JK's mom admits that he's always been a ladies' man. She even speaks highly of his ex, Alex, and says that she's practically part of the family. So Brooke gets up the next morning, excited to go pick up JK, but she can't finish getting ready because he keeps calling. And, so finally his mama kicks her off the phone. To Lauren's point, mama might start to be an issue. She gets emotional on her way to pick him up and says she's hopeful he stays, or his mom gets emotional because she's hoping that he just stays straight. And JK admits that the time he missed being in jail was difficult for him. I guess he lost his grandfather, I think he said,
Both of them.
both of them. And so, Brooke is wondering if Alex will be there for his release, because if so, she's ready to throw them bows. You know what I'm saying? And it's,
That
it's
was
about to
such
be
a
a girl
random,
fight.
but that was just a random question to ask his mother in the car.
Right. And so then finally, I guess they'll release JK at some point. Did we see him get released? I don't remember.
Yes, because they're gonna next week they're gonna be in a restaurant, and the mother again is gonna get up from the table because y'all done pissed her off, talking about this getting married and having baby stuff.
So then we get a new couple, y'all. Brooklyn and Brian. Now they're both 27. Brooklyn is a 27-year-old gymnastics coach who thinks that she's Beyonce. Okay. No, let me
Gymnastics
get your
and
thoughts. Let me
cheer.
get your thoughts. Let me get your thoughts on Brooke and Brian. Now, I ain't never met them. They new to me too. We just met them this episode. So, what are your thoughts on Brooke and Brian?
Um, she got on my nerves.
Okay.
That whole "I'm on the phone with my man, I'm on the phone with my man." That really, that was like chalk, like nails on a
Nails on a
chalkboard.
chalkboard.
I was like, why is she being so ghetto? Because of my man and my man. Um, I think when he gets out, he gonna be tired of her. Cause I'm tired of her, and so
And you only had to watch 15
and I
minutes.
only watched. They only was on the screen maybe a
Right.
total of 10 to 15 minutes, and she got on my nerves so bad. I like her brother, because let me tell you something. Her brother was the only one out of all these couples who had other people in their lives. He's the only one that said, "So, how he gonna take care of you?"
Right.
Like, it's like, what's his plan when he get out? Not even, I don't think. I mean, he asked how he was going to take care of you, and I honestly think that that's exactly what he meant. For me, I would ever ask the same question, not take care of me like I need you to take care of me, but how are you going to add to me now that you're home? I don't need you to take care of me, clearly, because I could take care of myself. I was doing it the whole time you were away.
Right.
However, now that you're home, what are you going to do to add to what I've already got going on? You
Okay.
got a job? Yeah,
Right.
do we got jobs? Do you
Right.
have a
We
job?
got
Can
y'all.
you What we doing? Because she don't have no job.
Mm-mm.
That
Well, she
cheerleading
does. She's
coach,
a gymnastics coach.
that's she ain't got no job.
That's a hobby. That's a hobby.
Because guess who else is a cheerleading coach?
You.
Come on now. Come on now.
All right.
We're not gonna do that. But she got on my nerve. To be honest, when I was listening to him talk, I just feel like she's gonna get on his.
Okay.
I don't
All
know.
right.
That was just the impression I got from he like, yo, like why is you listening to everybody else? He made some valid points in his conversation with her. I just feel like he gonna get out and she's gonna irritate him.
I can see
The,
that, but I also
the,
think it's also like he's prison talk because I've seen they know, you ain't
yeah,
got enough.
he know what to say.
Right. They're very good. Their word,
He
their
gonna he's
wordologist.
gonna get on his nerves. What I can say, that's what I said. I'm not saying that he's going to be some good man or he even is a good man. Not saying that at all. What he was saying to her in reference to the situation when she was at the bar with her family and friends, he made some valid points. If you're in a relationship with somebody, why do you care about what everybody else is saying? It's me and you. Now, people, that's prison talk, but that's just men talk too. Like men
True.
know how to manipulate a situation. Why are you paying attention to your girlfriend?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I get what he was doing. I honestly think they don't mention another woman or none of that. I just think overall she's gonna be an annoying person. And he just you can look at their pictures. She just looks annoying. She looks she looks annoying. Like look at her eyes. Like she looks annoying. And then he looked like the picture say, oh, her face in that picture says, "Nang, nang, nang, wah," and then
Wah 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 wah. The Charlie Brown.
he's looking at her like that's all he hears is wonk, 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 wonk. Like that's the
Oh,
face he has.
okay.
I think that as long as they're separate, they're good.
Good, but you
When
think once
they
they
get
get together,
together, I think it's gonna be something totally different. She's clingy. I could tell she's clingy. You can just tell she's clingy. And that ain't gonna fly with him. They didn't show much of their relationship, but just what they showed,
the
she's
little
a and
tidbits.
he ain't going for it. He don't want to be bothered with that.
Woo. Well, all right. So as Loren said, she meets up with the friends and the family to have the last little hoorah. And her homegirl too, her wig was terrible too. I said, her and Quiana, nobody got the memo that we was gonna be on camera today, and our wigs
Mhm.
needed to be laid. And our wigs needed to be laid.
They ain't had no money.
I guess so. Maybe they didn't get paid yet. So then her brother mentions like, yo, I heard that you've been with this dude for 6 years, and why am I just hearing about it? So then the sister is like, no, I'd known about him or whatever. And she said that she met him in high school. We learned that Brian is in jail for robbery. And says that, he had reached out, and I guess she had always been pursuing him. So she's always been the pursuer. So this is where, as me and Nell's always talking about, this is where she's already messed up because you're supposed to be the gazelle and you're being the lion. Okay. You're being the lion instead of being the gazelle.
I think it's okay to sometimes be the lion, depending on the situation. In this situation, no, she should not be the lion. Why are you chasing after this?
Right, right. And
Fool?
so then so his friend, hooked him up or whatever, got him in contact. And he said although they've been dating for 6 years, they just made it official a year ago. Don't let these niggas play in your face.
That's exactly what he's
What
doing.
it is. You think you've been together for 6 years. He just said y'all really was only together for a year. So that means anything he did before that year, that's what you. Oh, and then it gets better, y'all. So she's hopeful that he's gonna move in, and she's hopeful that they're gonna get pregnant. And the brother don't agree with it. Brooklyn says that her brother has always been protective of her because, and she believes it's because they both have trust funds that were set up when they were young, because the mama passed away from an aneurysm, and they
I'm gonna
sued the
stop you right
hospital.
there.
Okay,
That is what messed me up because she said her mother died when she was how old?
I think
10?
she's. I think she said 10. Yeah, something like that.
10 or
Younger.
10 months.
Or you know what? I think it was 10 months. Yeah.
So then how old is her brother? How, because she said her brother is her younger brother. So how did they share a mother if she was the oldest and the mother
You
died?
better clock it. You better clock it. I don't know.
That is when I watched it initially and I heard it, I was like, "Was now
That
wait
don't
a
make sense.
minute,
And
something's
when you
strange."
and hey, Shade Squad, if we're wrong, correct us in the
Right, please.
comments.
I just know what I
But
thought
too,
I
but
heard.
I heard the same thing that Loren heard, and I didn't think about it like that. I didn't put that much thought into it, but I'm glad that you clocked that, because she absolutely did say that, and that doesn't make sense because I do think it was 10 months.
Because she made it seem like
Because she made it seem like she didn't really know her mama.
right, which means he's younger. Like, how much younger is he? And then this other sister, y'all definitely don't have the same mother.
Right.
Cause she said I'm the big sister. Like she made it a point to tell him that. And he was looking at her like, girl, but I don't care about that.
Okay. He was like, but you the big sister with no sense. Okay.
For
And her brother doesn't think that she's taking this seriously enough, and they're questioning whether he's just wants her for because she got a little bag. And he thinks that she's moving too fast, and so she gets upset and she walks off. And then we see her get a call from Brian, and this is what Loren was saying. She tells him all the concerns her brother has, and Brian is supposed to be getting out the next day. And she says that they've this is the thing. Then she lets us know, and this is why I said this man is playing in her face. They've been in, I guess, what they consider an open relationship. So she knows he been out here talking to other women. And there's been a woman in particular in Jersey that he took a liking to when they were talking for months. But she feels convinced that Brian loves her. And she tells him she appreciates his wise words. And my notes say literally in quotations, what did he say?
Let me tell you
What did
something.
he say? And
You
so
said
and then she goes back to continue this argument with her brother and tells him that Brian is the one. And that's what I got for that.
my man. My
Right.
man. Let me
And to
tell you
Lauren's
something.
point, she's annoying. She's annoying and she's stupid.
You say don't let these men play in your face. Let me tell you something. Not only are you letting these men play in your face, but why are we letting broke men
Right.
with me? You broke. You can't play with me. I don't
Look,
care
I'm
who
like
you are.
Cardi. Broke boys don't deserve no.
You're if your card declined, so you are declined too, brother.
Right.
What is really going on? And I am not one. I want folks to know I am not one who is on money hard like that. But at some point, you got to put your foot down and be like, who do you think you playing with? You
Right.
have nothing. You don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, and you think it's okay to just look me in my face and tell me bold-faced
Oh,
lies or
I'm
give
dealing with other women. But you know what it is? She accepts it because he's honest. And I ain't even gonna hold you.
I can appreciate his
And this
honesty,
and
but
this
that
might
don't
be
mean you gotta
and this
accept
might
it.
be a judgmental moment. But I would say, well, here's my thing. I can respect honesty because when you give me honesty, you're giving me a chance to accept it or not. So I can respect him for that. Now, do I think she's crazy for accepting it? Absolutely. But I can respect him for being honest.
I can definitely respect him for being honest, but you don't get a kudos for that.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's
That's called being a man. That's called being mature.
yeah, you're
If
not the
you in
only
a
person I'm
relationship,
dealing with.
if you in
Right.
a relationship with somebody or you dealing with somebody, it's called being in a honest, open, mature relationship. Listen, sweetheart, I like you a lot. You're not the only one I'm dealing with. I don't want there to
Right.
be no issues. I don't want to be answering no whole lot of questions. I'm
Right.
telling you what it is. And I can respect and understand if this ain't what you want to do, and giving her the opportunity to walk away. Now, she didn't walk away, and that's fine. But why you got to be calling this girl the Jersey B and all that? Girl,
Right.
bye.
Right.
Bye. He was honest with you about her.
Okay.
And you mad at her? How you mad at her?
Right. So let's get into my least favorite, and then we're gonna close this out. So they are last and definitely least, because I do not care for y'all know I don't give a damn about Savannah and Bradly. So this is literally gonna be all of 10 seconds. So y'all know Bradly is happy about the newfound freedom. Oh, well let me get your thoughts on Savannah and Bradly, because yeah, I ain't got
Let
much
me
to
tell
give.
you that she bothered
I don't
me.
like her.
She bothered me. I think she
And the fact
is.
that she's from Virginia bothers me because she's like from the area. Like it bothers me.
I don't know, something about her. I haven't quite put my finger on it. I'm not a fan. And but I haven't quite put my finger on what it is yet. And maybe
Oh, and
I
y'all,
don't know.
update. I don't know, and I will come back to y'all once I confirm and find out. But word on the street is Savannah has already relapsed, and her and Bradly ain't together. I don't know if Bradley's sticking with her or what he's doing, but the word on the street, YouTube streets, and this is alleged, of course. That look, let me put up my band and make sure because I ain't got it to do. But yeah, word on the street is Savannah's already relapsed and she's I don't know, maybe in a
I can
rehab
see
or
that. I can see that. Now, let me say, something about her, it just doesn't. I can't quite
well, the
put my
fact
finger
that
on it.
you were on drugs and then you got with a your weed dealer supposedly, but I think he was dealing more than just weed. Being honest with you, I
Okay.
allegedly I think he was.
So let me say this. I'm gonna tell you why I like Bradley. And
Oh, okay,
I use the word. I shouldn't use the word like.
okay,
Let me tell you what I found interesting about him. Out of all of the couples, out of all of the guys that we met today, he is the only one who came home and said, "I start work on Monday."
I agree. I agree. I
And
agree.
May say, "Listen, I was doing this before I left, before I got locked up, got my trouble, but I've been lining some things up, and when I now I'm home. Listen, girl, I got to be to work on Monday.
Right.
Like I'm back on these streets, but I'm hitting the ground running. I got a job. I appreciate that because nobody else
Even
said
yeah.
nothing about working or going to somebody's work.
Mm-hmm.
So I can appreciate Bradley. I can also tell you that I'm sure Savannah relapsed because I think Bradley was through with her ass.
No, she's
Excuse my
annoying, and
language.
I
Yeah,
honestly I didn't that
I
the
think the moment
season
he
you didn't
saw
watch the
her,
season before, but the season
oh yeah,
before she was already annoying when she was waiting for him to get out and she was like, "Oh, are we gonna get married? And I want you to get tattoos and whatever." And he was like, "I'm not getting a tattoo of your name," and she still went and got his name, and she's just real extra but she's like, "I feel like he saved my life because he stayed with me even when I was an addict."
I
And
think
so,
that his everything about her has changed since she has been clean, sober,
right.
clean, and he's no longer attracted to her.
Because when he said, and y'all, we just breaking through because I'm happy I let Loren weigh in because I really didn't have much to give y'all. So basically, going into it, Bradley's happy with his newfound freedom. He's thinking of all the things that he has to do. He has a job. To Loren's point, and then Savannah reveals, or she's having the text read over through the phone and the mic, and they supposed to have dinner with the mom. And he's not really happy about it. But I was here for Savannah's mom, who happens to be like a prison advocate, which I was like, why is he so hesitant? Maybe because she gave him such a hard time because it's her daughter. So her mom is actually was so crazy. He walks in the door. Mom is there with open arms, surprisingly, and welcoming him and like welcome home. And I want to be here to support you. And I work with other prisoners. And what's so sad is they get in the van, they take them off somewhere, and you don't know where they're going. And what they coming home to. And so she was like, I wanted to be here for you. And so he really appreciates that. And then they go up to Savannah's room, and like Loren said, he don't want to do nothing because he said Savannah has changed a lot. Her whole body has changed, and it was a lot different when she was on drugs and she was 120 pounds. But I always tell people, don't let the short frame fool you. I'm 5'1", and if I gain 150 pounds, I would look a lot different. Not that's fat, but it would
No,
like
no.
it might look like
But
it on me. It might look like it on me.
right. Exactly. And so I think, but he also said sex is not on my mind right now. And
No,
I don't
because
think this
clearly he's worried about getting a job. And to your point, I like Bradley's
he
mindset.
he has other things on his mind. And he was like, right now, sex is the furthest thing from my mind. And I think it's because he has other things on his mind. But I also think it's because I think now that he's out and he's really is now she's sober and he can see how annoying she really is. In his mind, he's thinking, am I going to be able to do this with her and be able to lead and get my life in order? Like, I don't think that those are going to align. And I honestly think that she probably did, if, allegedly did relapse, because I think Bradley was like, look, sweetheart, you need more than what I can give you. And I'm not willing to do it for you again.
Right.
And he probably had to step off because clearly he don't want to go back. Main man already got his job. He came home and talking about he start working on Monday. When I heard that, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Somebody who
That's what she
who
talk
got
about,
there,
recovery. Yeah.
yeah, like you like nah. Let me go ahead. He not one time
Because if
throughout
you're
this
working,
whole,
that's keeping you out of the streets and that's
but
keeping you busy.
with everyone else, not everybody else, it was always a matter of now that I'm out, you got to stay away from here, and I got to figure out this, and I can't be around these people. Bradley don't talk about nobody else. He ain't talking about like it's full. All his accountability is on him. He's taking full accountability. I got a job. It's not about, oh, I can't be around the people I used to be around. He ain't even thinking about them. And if he is, he ain't mention them.
Right.
He is worried about self, and I think that's what he needs to focus on. He can't be worried about Savannah, and maybe that's why, if she did, unfortunately, allegedly fell off the wagon, that could be a reason
I
why.
love when you said that. Fell off the wagon.
But I don't like her. Because she's another one who was very annoying,
Yeah,
and
no,
I
she's very
was like,
annoying.
why is she?
That
What
one
is
I
wrong
absolutely
with
agree
her?
with. She's
I
super
was
annoying.
like, I can't wait to get after night. And I was like, I, I can see why he don't want, like, that is just such a turn on. Like, be a lady. Be a lady.
Again, lion gazelle.
And he was like, and he said it, he was like, I'm really just tired. And having sex right now is the furthest thing from
And
my
not even
mind.
that, you could see sometimes they talk about how when you first get out of prison, I feel like it was last season or a few seasons before, where we seen somebody literally have like a breakdown because it was last season, because just being outside, being able to walk freely is so triggering to them when they've been in four walls and been woken up every day at a certain time, and being able to have freedom is like weird to them.
Absolutely.
It triggers them like it. And even when he was like driving down the road and I saw that, like, he's still accepting the fact that he's free and he likes it and he wants
Right.
to remain that way. But it's also, when you've been locked up for a while, it is like we said earlier,
Just wants to be able to have
the world
fun.
has still been moving, and you've
Right.
been in this
He really just wanted to come home and just spend some quiet time by himself. That was clearly well, he ain't wasn't nobody waiting with no banners and no
no.
confetti or any of that. He just
And
wanted
that's
to
another
go.
thing. That's another thing. How do you every time in Love at the Lockup, you at least got to come with a banner. Now, Alexis, she came with a new phone and clothes. So I ain't gonna hold it
Well,
against her.
Quiana had a sign.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Quiana had a sign, but mostly that's what we see. And Savannah didn't even do that. She talking about what's it as she over here picking up rats and stuff off the side of the
It
street.
was that. What was that? Was that a mouse?
That was a field mouse, yes.
Huh, be careful.
Okay,
I
right.
thought it was, and I was like, I didn't want to. Well, I thought that's what I saw, but then I realized, okay,
Yeah,
I
she.
kept it at that because they're the only ones who do stuff like that.
So
Ever.
yeah, y'all.
I don't. Yeah, I like. I'm not even gonna lie. I kind of like Bradley. And maybe I won't like him. Maybe he'll turn out to be a jerk. Who knows? This episode, I liked him, but he'll probably
Cause
turn out to be a jerk.
she said she not gonna watch it no more.
No,
But
I'm not. I'm gonna listen to you guys. You will not catch me watching that anymore. It's kind of disheartening. Like this is the America that
this,
we live in.
yes, this
Like
is America.
people are really like clearly the reason that there's this show like this is because there's an audience. Now, case in point, there's an audience like you and I are looking at it for a totally different reason, but there's people who are actually looking at this because this is
This is
season
their
6.
life. Yeah.
People actually are living like this, and it's like y'all women, like there's a lot of desperation out here. Like you
Right. Yeah, no, it
possibly
is. It
want a
is.
man that bad. Like it is the meat. Listen, I'm one who enjoys relations, and having great relations, but
This
I
is turning
don't.
and shade in the city after dark, y'all.
You can't tell me that you are so desperate for some.
So thank you so much, cousin Lauren, for joining us. I love her unfiltered commentary. It was a joy to have you. So thank you so much. If you guys have not already, please make sure that you've hit that like button. Make sure that you guys have commented. Please let us know your thoughts because we've given you a lot of ours. And then yeah, make sure that you guys are subscribed if you like, y'all liking the vibe. And then make sure you hit the notification bells. Thank you all for continuing to support us and love on us, and we appreciate you. And we will catch you next week for another recap of the love that happens after the lockup. Y'all have a good night and a great weekend. Bye bye.
Bye.